How you doing, and welcome to this tutorial. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how I graded the clip that you see in the thumbnail, which is trying to replicate a kind of 16mm film look. The inspiration for this look comes from a film that I absolutely love, which is called Safe House with Denzel Washington. The look of this film, the grade is really superb, I think. The film was shot on 35mm, whereas obviously I'm trying to do more of a 16mm look, but I'm taking sort of bits of inspiration that I saw from that film, and let's have a look at some clips from that film and I'll show you kind of what I mean. So looking at this clip here, you can see the contrast is quite strong. The difference between the sort of the whites and blacks, the highlights are really pushed. Again, on this shot here with Ryan Reynolds, same deal. The highlights are really pushed. There's a big contrast between the shadow side and the sort of key side. And again, on this wide shot with Denzel Washington, you can see up the top left-hand corner there that the whites are pretty much clipped. I don't care about stuff like that. I think it adds to the look, it adds to the texture. So anyway, that's the inspiration of where I was trying to go with this. I'm not trying to copy it in any way, shape or form. I'm just going for that look. I want it to feel filmic. So let's jump on Premiere and I'll show you exactly how I did this. Okay, so here we're in Premiere. What I've done, I'm not going to go into massive detail on this. I'm just going to go fairly quickly through it. So got my scopes here, got the clip that we're looking at. On the actual clip itself, I've placed an instance of Magic Bullet Looks. So we'll go to edit and that'll open that in Looks. The first thing I've added in here is a color space transform. You can see in the top right here, the source is log. And then I've played with increasing the contrast, increasing the saturation and the white point. And when I turn that on, that gives me that. Which is essentially, I mean, I put Rec 709 on the image, but it's not a Rec 709 LUT. It's a color space transform that I've used and just kind of played with the settings to get it where I want it. Next thing is a vignette, just a very light vignette, and then a bleach bypass. The reason I've used that is because bleach bypass tends to increase your highlights and blacken your blacks. I don't know the technical terms, but bleach bypass was used on Fight Club, for example, and Saving Private Ryan. So anyway, so knowing that I want to have punchy whites and deep blacks, that's the reason I've added the bleach bypass. I've only got it set at roughly 50% and I've increased my exposure to compensate for it because it darkens the image. Next thing I've added is color wheels, and I've pushing my shadows into blue, compensating on the midtones here by pushing that in towards orange, and I've left the highlights neutral. Next thing is HSL, and I've boosted the reds and the oranges slightly and boosted the blue slightly. And then finally is just a standard kind of contrast S-curve that I've tinkered with, which gives a nice bit of punch to the image. So yeah, first of all, it's color space transform, vignette, bleach bypass. If you've not used this, then down here you've got tools, you've got subject, matte, lens, camera and post, and you can choose the tools and they should go in order of operation, if you like. So you go from subject right the way through to post. So I will okay that. If I can, I think my little record thing is in the way. Yeah. So I'll okay that. And that gives me that, which is okay, but it's still a bit dull for me. So what I've done to further kind of get that punch that we saw in Safe House is I put an adjustment layer above, and then in my basic correction, as you can see here, I've not turned it on yet, but when I turn it on, I've really pumped the highlights up, added more contrast and deepened the shadows down. So when I turn that on, that essentially gives me, hang on a second, yeah, that. So that makes quite a big difference to, it's building on the foundation that I've got from what I've done in Magic Bullet, but that gives it a real nice bit of punch. So the shirt is, it looks like it's blown out, but it's not. I mean, if you look at the scopes, the whites are slightly above 90, so we're well within range. But I like the difference it makes to his face. So by boosting those highlights like that, you sort of see the detail in his face. You see the highlights here, around his cheek, down his nose, down his jaw there on the left hand side. Going back to those safe house images, you know, that's what you got kind of going on there. It's not going to be identical because, you know, this is a professional movie with professional lighting. My film was just shot in London with no lights, natural light, no crew, just me and the camera and the model. But, you know, I'm kind of happy with the result. And as a final step, I've got some film scans. I've got a 16mm Fuji scan and I've got a 35mm Fuji scan in 4K. I can send them to people if you want them. Or I'll try and upload it to the video. They'll put a link in there so you can download them. So we turn that on and that just adds, it's probably very difficult to see from there, but if I try and make this bigger, yeah, so I don't know if you can see that, but I can see it. It's just really increasing the texture, which you really notice the texture in the highlights. I see when I watch movies that are shot on film, you see that texture in the whites and in the highlights, and I just love that kind of texture on the highlights. It just looks gorgeous, and that's what I'm trying to replicate. I'm just thinking through how would I get that look, how would I make it happen, and that's kind of how I do it. The film scan itself, I've left it at full whack, 100%. The blend mode set to overlay. I want it real. I want loads of texture in this project. This project's not finished yet, but I'll kind of just play it through. You can see where I'm going with it. This clip I've not used. This clip I just used as a reference. I built my look around this clip. The actual video starts here. I'll play you. I've only edited so far like 15 seconds, but you'll see the vibe I'm going. It's not, the grade's not completely done yet. It's not matched exactly right. Yeah, so that's it for this tutorial. Hopefully it's useful for somebody. Yeah, bye.